Hello viewers and listeners. My name is Jere Bajo. I'm here to present a lesson on SES, that is Social and Environmental Studies, in the upper basic level. Now, in our previous lesson, that is the introduction to Social and Environmental Studies, I gave you an assignment. So we're going to do the correction on that assignment before the next lesson. The assignment was name any other three important things found in our environment in which we live. Let's look at that. What are some of the things that we can find in our environment? We made mention of land, plants, and animals. What are the other ones? We have air in the environment, which is also very important. We have air in the environment. And what else? We have our buildings in the environment. What else again? We also have vehicles or cars in our environment. The next question is, identify the centuries these periods or years belongs to. Number 1, 1200, that is 1200 to 1299. This belongs to the 13th century. Number 2, 1100, that is 1100 to 1199. 1100 to 1199 belongs to 12th century, the 12th century. While 1000 to 1099 is the 11th century. Thank you. Now let's look at the next lesson. Lesson 2, the ancient empires of Western Sudan. The ancient empires of Western Sudan. Introduction. Western Sudan is present-day West Africa. Our present-day West Africa was known as Western Sudan. This area was covered by the savanna territory of West Africa. Was covered by the savanna territory of West Africa. Now, if you look at the description of this area, that is, it was bounded, or it is bounded in the north. That is, in the north, that's where you have the Sahara Desert. And this Sahara Desert was very much important in the history of Western Sudan. And in the south, in the southern parts, that's where it shared a boundary with the tropical rain forest. That is, in the south, that's where you have the tropical rain forest. And to the west, To the west, that's where it stretched to the Atlantic coast or the Atlantic Ocean. And to the east, it ended some distance to the east of Lake Chad. This will be followed by a map of Western Sudan where you will come to realize these areas mentioned above. Now, West Africa was known as Bilal as-Sudan. That is the name given to it by the Berbers, the Arabs, meaning the land of the blacks. Some may say the land of the black people. The word Bilal meaning the land or the country, and Sudan means black. So in short, it is the land of the black people. Now, what is the importance of this Western Sudan? The great importance attached to this Western Sudan was there are three great empires that emerge and decline in this Western Sudan, one after the other. That means one existed, when that collapsed or declined, the other one also emerged. Namely, Ghana Empire, Mali Empire, and Songhai Empire. These were the three great empires that emerged and declined in Western Sudan. Now, that is the map. If you look at the map, the map shows the description of this area called Western Sudan. Now, on the upper part of the map, on this upper part of the map, which is painted with lines up and down, is where you have the Sahara Desert, which we made mention earlier on. And coming down, the other lines vertically crossed on the map is showing the forest region. That is the forest region. And in the middle, where you have the plain white color, that is the savanna region. Now, one of the main physical features of Western Sudan is the rivers, because it has some rivers that were very much important to the geographical landscape of Western Sudan. Some of these rivers were River Benue, River Benue was one of the prominent rivers. You also have River Volta, which is in the present-day Ghana. And you also have another very important river called River Niger. River Niger was also one of the most important rivers. You also have our own river, which is River Gambia. River Gambia was also one of the important rivers. Then you have River Senegal. These were some of the important rivers in this region. Now, what makes these rivers very important? Because these rivers help in agriculture, that is, provide water. They also were very useful for communication, that is, transportation from one part of the area to another. Now let's look at Ghana Empire, because we said there were three great empires that emerged and declined in this region of Western Sudan. Number one is Ghana Empire. The ancient Ghana Empire was founded by Soninkes. The Soninke, this simply means the non-believers or the idol worshippers. So Ghana was founded by the Soninke ethnic group in around AD 300. 300 AD. Now Ghana started as a small kingdom called Auka. It started as a small kingdom called Auka. What does that mean? Auka means war chief. Now the first king of Ghana Empire, or the first king of the ancient Ghana Empire, was Kaya Magang. Kaya Magang, some will say Kaya Magang Sise. The capital of this empire, which is Ghana Empire, was Komisali. Komisali. Komisali was the capital of Ghana Empire. Ghana Empire became very famous by the 8th century. By the 8th century, Ghana became very famous. We will look at some of the reasons that makes Ghana very famous along the lesson. From 1050 to 1068, the ancient Ghana Empire became the largest, the famous, the wealthiest, which is the richest, and the most powerful empire in Western Sudan. This was as a result of certain reasons or factors that makes the empire the richest. Now, the reasons for the rise of ancient Ghana Empire. There were several factors that led to the rise of Ghana Empire. The rise and expansion of the ancient Ghana Empire was as a result of the following factors or reasons. One, the gold mines. For example, in Bure and Bambouk. Gold mines were the places where gold was dug or mined from. Now, the king controlled all these gold mines and make sure that every good part of gold was submitted to the king. The people were only having access to the gold dust. And the number two reason was adequate fertile land. Adequate fertile land. The land of the empire was fertile enough. As a result, agriculture was very successful in this region. The people were engaged in agriculture, which definitely helps the growth of the empire. And the other one, number 3, was taxation. Taxation was also another reason that makes the rise of the ancient Ghana Empire. The king levied tax on top of any goods that is leaving his empire and that is also coming into his empire. 4, the trans-Saharan trade. The trans-Saharan trade was also another factor for the growth or the rise of Ghana Empire. As the empire was strategically located along the route of this trade, they benefits a lot of revenue from this. The king also had a very strong control of the conquered states. These conquered states were also referred to as vassal states. Some of these vassal states were Silla, Tikru, Nema, etc. Now let's look at the government of Ghana Empire, how the king organizes his government. Now the ancient Ghana Empire had a centralized system of government. It was centralized. The government was centralized. What do we mean by centralized? That means the power was controlled by one person, that is the king. The king had the final say or made the final decision. Now in the government, the empire of Ghana was divided into 2. These were metropolitan Ghana and 2 the provincial Ghana. Metropolitan Ghana is where the capital Kumbisali was located. And that was the center of the administration. That was the center of the administration or the government, which was administered by the king himself and his cabinet. The provincial Ghana, in the other hand, was governed or ruled by the governors. And some of the stubborn states, vassal states or conquered states, were ruled by military governors. Now, in the Ghana Empire, hence there is government, there must be justice administered in the empire. Now, how was justice administered in the ancient Ghana Empire? In the administration of justice, there were 2 types of cases. You have civil and criminal cases. Civil cases were the matters between individuals within the empire. That is, cases relating to divorce, marriage, inheritance, theft cases, etc. and etc. Now, these cases were judged in a law court. They are judged in the law court. While criminal cases, in the other hand, were carried out differently. These cases were tried by ordeal. Trial by ordeal. Now, how is this trial by ordeal done? That is, if a person is accused of crimes such as murder, treason, or conspiracy. Now, in this system, a person will be given a concoction to drink. When I say concoction, that means a water that tastes bitter and sour. A piece of wood will be cut and put in the water, which will turn the water into bitter and sour. Now, when a person is accused of these criminal cases, will be given that water to drink. Let's see what happened. In this situation, if you drink this water, if the person accused of the crime is given the water, and after drinking the bitter water, if the person did not vomit, then you are guilty of the crime. But if after drinking the water, when the accused person drinks the water and vomits, that shows that the person is innocent of the crime. Therefore, he or she is set free. Now let's look at the fall of Ghana Empire, the fall of the ancient Ghana Empire. There were several factors that also contribute to the fall of Ghana Empire. One of the factors that led to the fall of Ghana Empire, although these factors were both internal, that is within the empire, and external. Let's look at the internal factors first. One of the internal factors that led to the fall or decline of Ghana Empire was lack of unity. There was lack of unity in the empire. Since the empire was too large and it consists of different people, it was very difficult for the upcoming kings or the kings that comes later to be able to unite these people. This weakened the empire as it led to a lot of fractions within the empire. The other one is inadequate communication. Inadequate communication. Since the empire was too large, communication becomes a problem, where the message from the king cannot get to some of the vassal states. As a result, Some of these vassal states took advantage to set up their own government. Number 3 was political instability. Political instability. For example, the Soninke post system of matrilineal inheritance led to many civil wars. What was their matrilineal system of inheritance? That means when the king died, he is succeeded by the eldest son of the king's sister, because the king believes that his son might not be his son. That means his wife may have an affair with another man and get that child in the family. Number 4, the size of the empire. The empire was too big. As I said earlier on, it was too big, so it was very difficult for the king to have a total control of the empire. And number 5, different states with different culture and language. The empire consists of a lot of states, and all these states have their different cultures and different languages, which makes it very difficult to manage them. And also, there was a lot of power struggle within the empire. Now let's look at the external factors. External factors. That is the factors that were coming outside the empire. One of those factors was the Almoravids. The Almoravids' invasion of the empire in 1076. This attack was led by Abdul ibn Yassin, or Abdullah ibn Yassin. This attack led to the destruction of the capital of Ghana, which was Kumbi Sali. It led to the destruction of Kumbi Sali. And 2 was by 1087, the empire of Ghana had completely collapsed. It has completely collapsed. And number 3, Sumanguru Kante attacked the empire in 1203. Who was Sumanguru? Sumanguru was the Susu king from Kanyega, who attacked the empire in 1203. And in 1235, Sunjata Keita annexed ancient Ghana Empire. It means he took over to come up with Mali Empire as a result of winning Sumanguru in a battle of Kirina. Neighboring kingdoms were also attacking. They also launched attacks on the empire. That is the end of the lesson. And that's your homework. The homework is look at the map of the ancient empires in Western Sudan closely. Look at it closely and answer the following question. Identify the other name for the Soninke ethnic groups of Ghana Empire. How were they called? What other name was given to them? Thank you very much. That is the end of the lesson. And like I said earlier on, stay home and learn from the lessons. COVID-19 is real. Let's save ourselves, our families, and the people around us. Thank you.